Hey, what's up everyone? Today I'm going to teach you how to make a traditional Thai beef soup. It's spicy, it's salty, and it goes great with a nice hot bowl of jasmine rice. So here are all the ingredients for a Thai spicy beef soup. Here, of course, is the main ingredient, beef. I have 1 pound of beef here, or half a kilogram. This is a Thai ribeye cut. There's not a lot of marbling, but that's why I chose a cut of a ribeye that has more fat around it. So if you're doing this dish, I recommend getting a good cut of beef with some decent fat on it. And right here I have 1 small onion. This is about 130 grams or about maybe 2 cups. And I just sliced it into these little wedge shape. And right here is 115 grams of tomato. Not a lot of tomato. This is about roughly 2 or 3 small tomatoes cut into wedge shapes like that. And a very important ingredient to this dish, this is a celery root. I have 2 stalks and these are about 30 grams total. I'm gonna chop these up later. And one thing that I really like about this dish is that there's gonna be some fried shallot. These are Asian shallot. I'm gonna cut these up later too and show you how I fried them up. And the spicy part, I have here prick chi fa, which is a medium-sized Thai chili. And then this is prick kinu. It's also referred to as like a mouth-dropping chili. It's not the color of the chilies that make it spicy, it's actually the size. So the smaller the chili, the spicier it will be. So these little tiny ones, they're like rocket fuel. I'm gonna chop these up, and these actually go in at the end. And for the sour, there's always a little bit of sour in Thai soups. So I have 1 whole lime here, and I'm gonna use it to taste. And then the other seasoning ingredients, I have light soy sauce, and this is tamarind paste. Make sure you get a Thai brand of tamarind paste if you're doing this. If you get it from another country, it might be something different, like a different consistency or whatever. So make sure you get a Thai brand of tamarind paste. And finally, just some salt. And that's it. So first thing I'm gonna do is just chop up the beef. And I'm just gonna cut these up into 1/2-inch cubes. So Thai cuts of beef tend to be a lot leaner, but luckily my local wet dry market has a butcher shop that carries a lot of different cuts of beef. So I can choose and pick out the ones that I want. Okay, so there you go. Just cut your beef into these little 1/2-inch cubes and you're set. And for the celery root, I'm just gonna take off the roots and just rough chop these into about 1-inch to 2-inch pieces. And that's it. And like I mentioned before, fried shallots is like one of my favorite ingredients in this recipe. Fried shallots will really heighten the flavor of this soup. And when you're done peeling it, just thinly slice the shallots and just set it aside. And then for the chili, I'm just going to take off the stems. Man, look how small these are. They're gonna hurt, but it's gonna hurt so good. Then I'm just gonna chop up these larger chilies and just drop them into my mortar for now. Now, just to let you know, this chili is the amount that I'm gonna put into my own serving, because fresh chili plus lime is always added to each individual serving bowl. I'll show you how to do it later, okay? So I'm just gonna mash these up for now. A chunky texture, not too fine, okay? You can also use a food processor if you want, or just use something heavy and just bash it. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to brown my beef. I have my heat on a medium high. Wait for my pan to get hot. And then I'm gonna drop in about 2 tablespoons of oil. That's 1, that's 2. Spread the oil around. Then I'm gonna throw in my beef. I'm just gonna spread it around. Make sure that the beef has contact with the pan. So I'm just looking to brown the beef a little bit. I'm not looking to cook the whole thing through. Just gonna give the beef some color first. This should just take about a few minutes. After a few minutes has passed, I'll put in my onions. So what I'm doing here is I'm flavoring the oil in the pan with the beef as well as the onions. Okay, so once the onion has started to turn clear, I'm going to add 8 cups of water. This recipe should be enough to serve about 2 to 3 people, maybe even 4. But I always like to just make a bunch of this and just keep it in the refrigerator and just whip it out whenever I'm hungry for some beef soup. Okay, so I have this on a medium-high heat, and before it comes to a boil, I'm going to throw in the seasoning. So I'm going to need 3 tablespoons of tamarind paste. The tamarind paste is going to give this really nice sour punch to this beef dish. This is number 3. And now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of light soy sauce, plus 2 teaspoons of salt. That's 1, and that's 2. And then just mix it up. When you see the little bits of protein float up, you can always just scoop it out so you have a nice clear soup. It's easier to do this when the soup is boiling. Alright, so now I'm going to lower it to a simmer. Continue scooping out the brown bits. See, it looks much better right now. And then I'm going to cover this and just let it simmer for 10 minutes. And before my 10 minutes are up for the beef soup, I just fried up some shallots. All I did was add 2 tablespoons of oil, dropped in my shallots, and just make it slightly crispy. These fried shallots is going to add an intense onion flavor to that beef soup. So this is a very, very important ingredient for this soup. Just go ahead and drop everything inside and just stir it up. Now this is almost done, so I'm going to add in my tomatoes and celery root. I'm just going to turn this up to a medium heat and just stir it up. And let the fried shallots, the tomatoes, and the celery root fuse into the soup. Just gonna cover this up and let it continue cooking for just 5 minutes. Okay, here we go. Thai beef soup. Check that out. A really nice, strong, beefy taste. The fried shallots will give it a nice, intense onion flavor, but it's not finished. One of the things about eating in Thailand is that you can always customize your own foods. So I'm gonna add in my chilies. Everywhere you go in Thailand, there's always like fish sauce on the table, pickled chilies, black vinegar, crushed red chili flakes, ground white pepper, and even sugar. There's always something to give customers to help them customize their own foods just the way they like it. And now I just need some lime. And I do like a lot of lime in my beef soup. Plus, just a dash of fish sauce. And just mix it up. Make sure I don't get a really big mouthful of chili. And there you go, a Thai-style spicy beef soup. All it took was just 30 minutes to make, and it's very quick. Just give it a taste. You can't find beef soup all over Thailand, so it's just one of the reasons why I make it myself. I can't stop eating it. Alright, so if you like Thai flavors and you like beef, try out this Thai beef soup. I know you love it and enjoy it at home. It's very simple to make. As you can see, it only took me like 30 minutes, so why not try it out, right? So thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you all again next time. Take care and goodbye.